All right, so 4.1 is where the new chapter starts. It's writing the equations in slope-intercept form, okay? So off to the side, we all have this little bit of space. I just wanted to write down the set of rules to help us out. So I just call it steps, okay? So steps to write the equation of a line. It's basically going to be this repeated over and over again, okay? And you'll see what I mean. So step number 1 is label. So we're going to label our points, X and Y. Okay? Jack, you getting this? All right. So anytime we see points, we're going to label it X and Y. If we have 2 points, we'll label it X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Step number 2, okay? This is going to be write your formula. The formula here might be y equals mx plus b, or it might be our slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Step number 3 is substitute. And step number 4 is solve / simplify. And I'll give you a second to make sure you get this down. Because there's a lot in this section, and there's really not a defined set of rules in how to do it, but I try to give you some. And if you follow these steps, it might help you out. Okay. So in this section, we're going to be using the slope formula and the formula y equals mx plus b. So these are the 2 formulas I'm talking about, okay? And just to review, slope is rise over run, okay? So that's when we count the blocks on the graph, or when we're given 2 points in this example, 2 and -3 and -5 and 7. If I'm trying to find the slope, the first thing I would do would be I would label my points, x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so that's what I mean by label. Now I would write my formula. Okay, so my formula is written here. Okay, typically I would write that right in here before this step right here. But because it's already done for us, I can't do that. Then I would substitute. You can see I substituted those points into the formula. So y2 was replaced with the 7, y1 was replaced with the -3, x2 was replaced with -5, and x1 was replaced with 2. And then this step, the next step was the solving / simplify. Okay? Okay. Now, for the next part, the y equals mx plus b, this is our formula, okay? Y is y, m is slope, x is the x value, and b is our y-intercept. So those are all the parts, and you'll see what I mean by this, okay? So it says, given the slope m equals 1/2 and the y-intercept at 0, 7, write the equation of the line. So following that, those steps that I gave you earlier, okay, what we can do here is we can write the equation of the line. Now, there's a couple different ways to do it. You can recognize right off the bat anything that is 0, comma, a number. This is our y-intercept. So this is our b, okay? That's our b value. So b equals 7. And it gives me my slope right here. It's already labeled for me. So I simply substitute it in. I'm replacing m and b because that's what I need to graph the equation of the line. So I would write y equals 1/2 x plus 7. All right? Are you guys okay with that? No questions with that? All right. So I'm going to skip this example for right now. All right, we're not there yet. And we're just going to come over here to this. So everybody turn the page. And we're looking at these. So I know it says work with a partner, but we can't do that. The objective is to write an equation of the line. Got that, Neve? So in order to write the equation of the line, okay, we need to write something in this form, y equals mx plus b. Now, right before the end of the third marking period, I asked you guys to do a IXL, and the IXL was writing the equation of a line, but I gave you m and b, right? Do you remember that at all? Okay, and all you did was replace the m with your slope and the b with your y-intercept, right? So those are the two things I'm after. I'm after m and I'm after b. Once I have that, I just substitute it into that equation and I go from there. So up here, I have a graph. So I need to find my slope, okay? Now, because I have a graph, I have two ways I can find my slope. I could count the blocks, right? I could count rise over run. So how do I get from here to here? Well, I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. I go up 4, and I go to the right, 1, 2. So my slope would be 4 over 2, which is 2. Do you see how I got that? Sophia, do you see how I got that? Now, I need the y-intercept. The y-intercept graphically is the point where my line, so I'm going to highlight that in blue, crosses the y-axis, which is right here. Do you see where those two lines meet, Matt? Now, those two lines meet right here at that point. That point is my b value. That point is -1, right? Now, do you see the point they gave me was 0, -1? So anything 0, comma y, or 0, comma a number is my y-intercept. Now that I have m and I have b, I can write the equation of the line. So I write y equals, m is 2, so I write y equals 2x, and my y-intercept is -1. So y equals 2x minus 1. That's it. We okay with that? All right, I want you guys to try B. Try to write the equation of the line for B based off of what I did for A.
Did you see Kevin's note?
No.
I still can't hear anything after you went out, came back.
Oh, Kevin, I don't know what to. Hey, he can't hear me. Can you message him to check his what? Zoom settings. Nick, did you finish up big? Okay. All right. So with the graph, these should be pretty quick and straightforward. Ready, Kanye?
You say that, but these lines are really hard to see.
They are?
Mm-hmm. This book. These are the better
I think they're all right. You could take notes like they used to back in the day, where I write it on the board and you have to write it down in a notebook. Beggars can't be choosers.
That's true.
All right, ready, Kanye? Kanye, I want to get from this point to this point. Are you okay with that? So which direction are we going? Down. So I'm going down 4, so it's -4. Now, how far over am I going? You said 4. So my slope is going to be -4. So you're right with the 4 over 4, but direction matters with slope. So it's -1. And Kanye, what's my y-intercept? So where does my line cross the y-axis? Right there, right? What number is that? So look at the number on your y-axis that it would correspond to. So that. Two. So your B is 2. So the equation of this line is y equals, as Kanye said, -1 x plus 2. You okay with that? All right, so let's look at C. I'll make it bigger. All right. Mr. Ferry, is this big enough for you? All right. Mr. Ferry, how do I get from this point to this point? 4, down 4. And over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're in agreement with that, right, Mr. Ferry? All right, so my slope is -4 over 6, which is what? Negative 2/3. You okay with that? Now, I want to know, where does my line cross the y-axis? Neve? It crosses right there. Notice it's not labeled, but it's right there. I can see it. That's b equals 1, as Neve said. So my equation is y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. Pretty straightforward, right? All right, Emma.
Yeah,
Here we go. What is my slope here?
is it 1/2?
So we go up 1 and to the right 2. Very good. What is my y-intercept, Emma?
-2?
-2. So Emma, what's the equation of my line?
Y equals 1/2 x minus 2.
There you go. Any questions with that? No questions. All right. So why might we need to write equations of the line, or anything for that matter? So in real life, okay, things can be represented and kind of communicated through equations. We can use them to predict the cost of gas or predict the cost of a smartphone plan. So in A, it says, what is the y-intercept of the line? And interpret in the context of the problem what it means. So Drew,
Yeah.
What is the y-intercept?
20.
20. And what does that 20 mean?
It's $20 a month.
Okay. So $20 per month just to have the phone. Just to activate the phone. Have you guys ever heard of activation fees with your phone? This phone has a $20 activation fee. So just to have your phone active, not to use it, just to have it active, it's $20 a month. Make sense to you guys? All right. Now it says approximate the slope of the line and interpret what it means. So, Sophie,
Yes.
all right. Ready, Sophie? Would you agree that my line goes through the corner of that box right there that I highlighted?
I can't see where you highlighted.
Right here. It's on the graph. Did
Oh,
you
yeah,
see
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Now I have to find another point on my graph where my line goes through the corner of a box. Would you agree, Sophie, that it goes through the corner of that box right there?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason why I'm doing that is that's going to allow me to count blocks. So Sophie, how many blocks or how much rise do I have to get from here, this point on the left, to the point on the right? So how far up?
3/8.
All right, 3. But what does the 3 represent? Think about it. Each block represents how much?
20.
20, right?
Yeah.
Would you agree? Sophie? Did we lose Sophie? I think we did. So each block, she said 3/8, and she's not wrong. I'm just going to show you how we get to that. So we're counting by 20. So 20, 40, 60. Now, we're going over and we're counting by 250. So 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. So we went up 60 and we go over 2,000, right? So she's counting blocks, which is fine, but in our context, we have to keep it as what we're counting by, right? Because we're not counting by ones. So if we cancel these out, that's 6 over 200 divided both by 2, that's 3 over 100. So it's a little different than counting the 3/8. Like she's not wrong because she went up 3 blocks and went to the right 8 blocks. But in terms of our problem, we have to make sure that we're using the right units or intervals. So now it says, interpret what the slope means. Sophie,
Yes.
are you okay with that? Do you see how I got that?
Yeah.
Now, what does the 3 over 100 mean? Do you have any idea? it's okay to say no. All right, let's go to Jordan. Jordan, do you know what the 3 over 100 means? Okay. Good conversations. Neve? Okay, so we're trying to interpret what does 3 over 100 mean? Okay, so in terms of the word problem, because it's a word problem, it's a real life scenario. So it has real life context, okay? It's not just like a willy-nilly problem, like, oh, 1/2. Like it has a meaning, okay? Okay, so you're along the right, line, right? What are we measuring? What are our axes? So the y-axis is dollars, right? Where are you getting cents? What are we measuring in? Dollars. So Neve is saying $3 for every which I don't know if you know. Do you think that's a good deal or not? You sure? Probably not. How many megabytes are in a gigabyte? Isn't it like 1,000? I think it's 1,000. So that means here we'd have to multiply this by 10. So to put it in our context, that would be $30 per gig, which is not too good. All right, so write an equation of the line that represents cost as a function of data usage. So that is y equals 3 over 100 x plus 20. And I can use this equation to predict how much my data bill will be based upon how much data I use. Are we okay with this? Any questions? All right. So we're going to stop there.